What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming back with episode number 16 of my F1 2020 My Team series here today for the Italian Grand Prix at the Monza race circuit, one of the most legendary tracks on the Formula One calendar. Has been on the F1 calendar since the start and has only missed the one event. Not sure what year that is, but moving on to this Grand Prix, come off a pretty good race last time out in Spa, got the maximum potential out of the car there, and we're looking for something very similar here this weekend in Monza. It's going to be a very similar performance, I believe. This one is definitely a bit more low speed in terms of the drag and the downforce of the car, I should say. So that's what we're kind of aiming for. We should be on for a good result. Haven't got any new upgrades on the car. There's a look at the performance graph. You can see we're just off the back of the midfield, just ahead of Haas. So 17th and 18th is where our car should be relatively on the grid. It just depends on the driver, how far or low we can perform our car. So we'll move into qualifying now and see what we can do. Hopefully we have a good weekend here in Italy. Moving on now to the first lap here in Q1, and this is just a lap where you just get your eye in, a feel for the circuit, and you push the limits and see what you can get out of the car. And there's a first lap, and nothing special there. We go ahead of Russell, we're behind Daniel Kvyat. I went again on that same set of tyres, but did improve. But now this is the second run here at the end of Q1. You can see we're ahead of our teammate already, but we're not improving on our current lap here. So very disappointing, and we're currently in 19th place, and we're not going to look like improve. Sorry, in 17th place, not 19th place. And we come across the line, we don't improve, so it's P17 here for Italy. A very disappointing result here in qualifying. We've been knocked out in Q1, but like I said, that's where the car is. Unfortunately, Schumacher got out-qualified by both the Haas cars, which is disappointing. But yeah, so two Xeno cars, the two Haas cars, and the two Williams out in Q1. So we'll move on to the race now.
Welcome back to one of only two countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations. And it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Mercedes. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fence starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and Perez, Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz, and Lance Stroll, Giovinazzi, Ocon, Lando Norris, and Raikkonen, Kvyat, the captain, Kevin Magnussen, and Roman Grosjean. Gasly, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Schumacher, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So welcome everybody here today to the Italian Grand Prix for round 15 here of the Formula One season, our debut season. And we will be starting from 16th on the grid due to a penalty for Pierre Gasly. So already we have made up one spot here today before the race has started. But Valtteri Bottas and is on pole position to really looking today to starting to put one hand on that championship trophy. I know there's a few races to go, but I don't know if Hamilton can claw that many points back. But anyway, we're going to get ready for the start of today's Grand Prix. The revs rise here in Italy And let's go here at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. We make a pretty good getaway compared to Daniel Kvyat. We get past him straight away, and we're also pulling alongside Lando Norris here into turn 1. I'm going to brake early into turn 1. We're going to go up the inside. Kvyat's gone darting down the outside. We go darting down the inside. Kvyat is on the outside. We're on the outside. He is ahead there, and Ricciardo. So me and Kvyat have made up a bunch of places here into turn 1. Kvyat moving into 10th place. If he can get past Daniel Ricciardo, we're going to go into his slipstream. And Kvyat's got the inside here for turn 4. We're going to go nice and early. We're out of position here. And Ricciardo's got a poor exit, but we cannot take advantage of it on the run to Lesmo 1. And we're going to have to slot in behind the fellow Australian. And Kvyat, what a move from him at turn 1 to find himself in 10th place. So, great start from the Russian driver. We have also made a really good start from 16th to 12th here. And now can we make an impression on Ricciardo down into the Ascari chicane here on the opening lap. Kvyat looks like he's having another move here into Ascari. He's on the outside of Alexander Albon. No, actually that's Perez who's side by side with Albon, I believe. Yes, it is. Sorry. And we've got a good run through Ascari compared to Ricciardo. We're pulling alongside. Kvyat's trying to go past Albon. We've got a cracking run here on the run to the Parabolica. 3 wide here, and I'm now 2 wide with Kvyat. Didn't want to risk my front wing there, but we've got a really good exit, and we're into overtake mode here, and we've got that low downforce working a treat. The Mercedes engine as well helping us compared to the Honda powered car of Kvyat. He's got Albon's slipstream, which is helping him pull forward. We're going to have to go defensive here into turn 1 compared to Ricciardo as well, but we managed to hold the line. We give Kvyat the space, and now we get a really good exit here compared to Kvyat, and we take away 10th place. So great start to this Italian Grand Prix, and now we will be chasing Alexander Albon here. We now move to lap 3, and he's chasing Sergio Perez. Can Albon have a go here into 3? He's going to look to the outside, Albon is, but he isn't close enough. We almost run into the back of him, just take avoiding action. Now we're going to be under a bit of pressure from Daniel Kvyat, but we managed to hold on there. Now lap 4, once again Albon's gotten through this time into turn 1 on Sergio Perez. Now can we have a go here into turn 4? He's going to go to the inside. We're going to look to the outside, but he defends his position well, does the Mexican driver, and we do not get through here on this occasion. Lap 5 now in this Grand Prix, and you can see Daniel Kvyat right behind us here. We're going to have to go defensive in the turn 1, and we do so. He's going to go to the outside, but he doesn't. He brakes really well on the brakes, but we're able to hold onto the position as Albon is still maintaining his spot ahead of Sergio Perez into turn 1. And we now come on to the start of lap 8, and we will open the DRS here once again, chasing Perez. We've got Raikkonen behind him. He's Ferrari powered off Romeo, and he's gotten past Kvyat, and he's now trying to make a move here on us as Perez goes for it on Alexander Albon. Raikkonen strong on the brakes. We release the brake pedal and able to get back up the inside of Raikkonen, but we get a pretty good run through turn 1 and 2. We open up overtake mode, and now we have a good slipstream here compared to on Albon, and we're gaining all the time on the Red Bull driver, but we're not able to find a way through here into turn 4 and 5. We get the back end a little bit sideways, but that's okay as Perez makes the move stick. Next lap, Albon going for it again on Perez, so it's just kind of they're stuck in this DRS train here, and they can't break that 1 second barrier, either driver. And now we've got a really good run here this time. We're much closer this time around to Alexander Albon, and he's going to go defensive to the turn 4. We're going to go to the outside. It's a risky move there with Perez. But we're right around the outside. He clobbers the curb in the inside, but we drive around the outside. Great move by ourselves to get past Alexander Albon for 9th place. And now we'll chase after Sergio Perez for 8th, but we get it sideways out of Lesmo 1. We would maintain in position ahead of Albon. Now lap 11 in this Grand Prix. DRS activated here. Perez going to defense to the inside. We're going to the outside. We've got a lot of straight line speed here, and we're able to brake into turn 1 and get ahead of Sergio Perez and take what will be an effective 8th place. We come in at the end of lap 11 now for our one and only pit stop. We're coming in for the medium compound tyre. So what an exciting first stint that was, just battling with those 3 drivers, and including Raikkonen and Kvyat. It was really good, and we've made our way into the points here, which is exciting. That's Antonio Giovinazzi, who's having a really good race. He's actually ahead of ourselves, Perez, Albon, and we come out of the pit lane here. You got Raikkonen, who came in the lap previous, and he came out on the hard tyre though, and he wasn't able to perform the undercut on us. So important we come out ahead of Raikkonen, but now we're chasing down Antonio Giovinazzi. I believe Raikkonen got himself ahead of Albon. Albon, I'm not sure exactly where he is, and I think he's behind Raikkonen, but Perez is ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, so it slightly worked for Raikkonen compared to Alexander Albon, but we're catching up now to Raikkonen's teammate Antonio Giovinazzi for his home Grand Prix. We almost put the car in the barrier there, and we've also got Carlos Sainz ahead in P6, so that's where the battle is at the moment. Lap 18 here, we've got the DRS on Antonio Giovinazzi. We're closing at a fast rate of knots here. Giovinazzi's going to defend to the inside, so we're going to go to the outside. We pull alongside. Now it's all about outbraking the Italian. We go side by side through the chicane, and we're able to pull off the move. Brilliant move there, around the outside into 1, get the inside for 2, and we go into 7th places. We now chase down Carlos Sainz here. It's the start of lap 19. You can see yellow flag on the minimap, and now Kevin Magnussen is out of this Grand Prix. Kevin Magnussen, disappointment for the Haas driver. Disappointment for the Haas driver. He will definitely not be scoring points today. I don't think he was going to anyway, and VSC deployed. So VSC deployed, and I don't think I got the best of it on the restart here compared to Giovinazzi. You can see he's right behind us, and you can see Magnussen's car still on the track here. I don't know why that doesn't get taken away during the VSC period. Just, yeah, not sure why that's the case, but anyway. So we're going to be under pressure here immediately from Giovinazzi here. Unfortunately, this VSC has put us under pressure. I think without the VSC we would have been able to not be under pressure from him, but that's not the case here. And Giovinazzi's got such a great run out of Parabolic. He doesn't really need the DRS to get past us, and we go into his slipstream, but it's going to be for no use. Giovinazzi takes back 7th place from us, and we cannot really do much about that. So we'll see if he drags us along to Carlos Sainz, because we were closing on Sainz before the VSC was deployed. But now it's the start of lap 21, and we've got the DRS here on Giovinazzi. He's going to defend to the inside. I'm going to also look to the inside. We go really late on the brakes here in the turn 1, but we go too deep on the brakes, and Giovinazzi is able to sweep back around the outside. So that's a failed overtake attempt there on Giovinazzi. This is really good racing between us. He's in that Ferrari powered Alfa Romeo. He's very difficult to get past down the main straight. We're going to have another go here on the start of lap 24. Can we have a look? We're just not close enough. We're using everything I got in terms of engine modes, but I just cannot get close enough down to turn 1 at the minute. So that Alfa Romeo is very slippery in a straight line. We were able to do it earlier in the Grand Prix, but we just can't stay close enough, it seems, through the Parabolica, which is important. Can we have a look into turn 4? We're not close enough, but we're not getting close enough down to Ascari either. We have to do it down here to turn 1. It's lap 25, 3 laps to go. If we want to beat Sainz, we need to do this now. We're going to have a look down the inside. It's a late move. He closes the gap. It's contact. We've broken the front wing. He's spun. That's really poor from us there. Giovinazzi spun. We gain a spot there, but, you know, that's, yeah, poor driving from us. Giovinazzi loses a load of places. That's really unfortunate. He didn't deserve that at his home Grand Prix. He was driving a really, really good race from his side of things, as the Alfa Romeo car has been strong all weekend here at Monza, and we're now being followed by Sergio Perez. A lot of damage on our front wing here. You can see I'm really struggling through the Lesmo corners. I'm almost in the gravel there, and Perez now has the run out of Lesmo 2 on the run to Ascari chicane, and he breezes past us here to take 7th place off us. So now it's just about how many points we can score. We've got to try and hold on. We've also got Kimi Raikkonen and Daniel Ricciardo behind. I'm not sure what's happened to Alexander Albon in this Grand Prix, but he's nowhere at the minute, and we have pressure from Raikkonen and Albon. We almost lose the car, and there's contact behind from Raikkonen. He spins into the wall. We've just ruined another Alfa Romeo's Grand Prix. This time, not really much I could do about that. I lost the rear of the car, and in trying to regain it, Kimi went for a gap that was just, I couldn't control, and yeah, there's contact and he's into the barrier. As we now move on to the last lap of this Grand Prix, and it's been a disappointing last 3 laps after what was an exciting and thrilling Italian Grand Prix, and we're now under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo to hold on to 8th place. We dip a wheel into the gravel. just trying to go through there like I'm on a qualifying lap with half the front wing, and yeah, just didn't have the downforce they was to do so. We lose 8th place. We drop back to 9th place here, so can we hold on for 2 points over his teammate Esteban Ocon, who's in 10th place? So I don't know where the runners were all race, but they've come out of nowhere, and it looks like they're going to be able to scoop up a couple of points here. Unfortunately for Alfa Romeo, they're going to come away pointless after what should have been a really good points haul for them, with Valtteri Bottas winning this race and really putting his authority on the championship. We're coming under pressure from Ocon, but we'll just get across the line for a 9th place finish.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Valtteri Bottas, a commanding performance that I think had the audience's eyes glued to him for the majority of the race.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
So guys, that was your Italian Grand Prix here this afternoon, and Valtteri Bottas has won the Grand Prix with Leclerc and Vettel rounding out the podium for Ferrari. So a double podium here for Ferrari, no win for the Tifosi here today, but that's really disappointing for Lewis Hamilton because he's in a straight fight with Bottas for this World Championship, and unfortunately just can't have these kind of performances after his retirement last time out, and Valtteri Bottas gets a lot closer to becoming world champion for the first time in his career. Just having a look at the incident report of a few penalties being handed out, I probably deserved a penalty here today for spinning out Giovinazzi and taking out Raikkonen, some sort of penalty. I'm not sure when these occurred, these kind of time penalties. I didn't really look into it too much, but yeah, I drove a really good race until lap 25, the first 24 laps were really good, and then I went for a move on Giovinazzi because I just wasn't getting close into the braking zone. I went deep on the brakes, but I never got anywhere near even being alongside, and I tagged him in real life. That's definitely a penalty. It's a penalty. The game didn't recognise it as causing a collision and a penalty. There's not really too many of those for just spinning a driver out like that, but that is definitely a penalty if we're talking real life here. So I feel sorry for both the Alfa Romeo cars because unfortunately the second incident I just lost the rear end. I was just trying to make sure I didn't put it in the barrier there, and Raikkonen unfortunately went for a gap that was just diminishing just the way my car was out of control. So not much I could do about that, but Giovinazzi, he lost a lot of points today due to just a mistake on my half. So I apologise for that. That's poor driving, and I hope to improve in the next coming races. So looking into the development of the car, we've got an engine development on the way, so that's a major upgrade for the power of the car, but where this car really lacks is still in the aero and chassis department. That's where we need to make it up. The engine department's not so bad because we're ahead of the Honda, and we're ahead of teams like Red Bull, and if Red Bull can fight for podiums with Max Verstappen with a car that's not the most powerful, obviously we need to work on our chassis and aero department to really get that up there, because as long as we have a Mercedes engine in the back, we'll be alright, I believe, because Mercedes have worked hard on their power unit side. You can see the durability upgrades they've brought this year. They haven't done so much with the engine bits, but they're coming later in the season, I believe, because it tells you when they come and when they're scheduled to come. So, yeah, but anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of F1 2020 in my team. We scored points, but it wasn't our best race. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel for plenty more F1 2020 my team content. And yeah, I'll see you guys for the next episode at the Singapore Grand Prix. Until then, goodbye.